Okay, I'm having to reshoot the entire part 4 again of the overview of Ubuntu because my AVI became corrupt for some odd reason. I'm going to try to do this all in one shot without pausing because that may be what is actually corrupting it. Okay, this is called Unity. It's the default Ubuntu desktop. You'll notice some similar options to the start menu over in this corner, whether it be shutdown, log out, whatever. This allows fast user switching, kind of like XP, but it allows you to switch user accounts, time, date, calendar, sound, Ethernet connections, Bluetooth, and if you have a chat client or other options pop up here on this bar as well, to let you know what status they're in. This is called the dash home, and from here you can find installed applications that you don't have pinned. Every item on here is pinned to the launch bar. If you wanted to find an application to see if PDF was installed, you'd type PDF. And as you can see, it's searched in the file folders. This shows all the PDFs in the local area. Applications, if you search here for applications, let me just do this. It'll tell you exactly what you can do from each area that you go to. You'll notice that the first one is just a general search. Second one is search applications. Third is search files and folders, search music, and the last search videos. I'm going to go back to applications. If I wanted to find a program that could view or read PDF and see if it's installed on my computer, I type PDF. Now, when I type that, you'll notice that I have all these available applications for download. When I click here, I'm able to see even more applications available for download, and it's up to me to decide which one I want. However, you don't necessarily have to know all on your own which ones you want. You can always go to the Software Center. Let me just close this out real quick. Software Center itself is over here. When you open that up, it basically, you have a whole listing of applications that can be used, and you'll have stars and recommendations, and you can search from here as well. Some people prefer the dash, some people prefer the Software Center. You'll notice here if there's top rated and then there's 4 stars, and all these different applications have different stars. If you wanted office productivity, you can click on that category. There's all kinds of categories here that you guys will find useful. And I just wanted to point that out real quick and show that that's not the only place that you can go to find applications, and this will kind of help you figure out which applications you may or may not want. Okay, the home folder is similar to your file browser inside Windows. When you open my computer, you'll notice home, desktop, documents, downloads, music. All this is basically very similar to Windows. If you click on the file system, this is actually the file hierarchy for Ubuntu. All Linux versions are very similar. Certain things go in different areas, like the bin or sbin folder, depending upon the flavor of Linux. This is typical. This right here is the typical layout of the home folder. The home folder is the path that all of the user files exist in, and that you can you typically land in. Right now, if I were to type in PWD, which is not password, it's present working directory, it would show me in home student, which means that I'm actually in this directory right here when I open up a terminal. Okay, that is a little shortcut to help you find your way amongst directories, is PWD. But I'm not going to go too much into command prompts because there's a whole bunch of other tutorials on how to traverse directories and things of that nature, so I'm just going to exit out of there. I just wanted to show you that you did have a tool to show you what directory you were in. Okay, the next thing I want to cover real quick is, I'm going to close out of there and open up Firefox. Firefox is an internet browser for those of you who may not be familiar with it. A lot of people are familiar with it, though, because Internet Explorer is so inherently insecure. They've chosen to move away from Internet Explorer and adopt Firefox. Firefox is obviously built in, and it's even pinned, so you can just go up here and go to websites. One thing I do like about a good feature of Firefox is that you have the ability to sync your profiles across different devices, like your mobile phone, any computer you use, or you can choose not to do that if you're into privacy and you don't want it synced. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. LibreOffice Writer is the like Microsoft Word equivalent. As you can see, I'm typing. If I wanted to change the font, I could change the font just by dropping this down and picking it. Change the size, bold it, do whatever you'd basically do inside Microsoft Office. The only thing that I'm not very impressed with in the base version of Office Writer is the bibliography options. If you've gotten used to using the bibliography options within Word, you're not going to like it here. You're going to have to install an additional product like Beavis or BB, which allow you the same functionality, like in-text citations, and to insert like a works-cited page at the end. Otherwise, you have the whole mail merge wizard and spelling grammar, all those options, and each of these programs has the save as option, where you can save to the equivalent of whatever application Microsoft has to offer for it. And this goes all the way to 2010. So, okay, I'm going to close out of here and show you the equivalent of Excel rather quickly. LibreCalc is the equivalent of Excel. Looks a little bit awkward, kind of like the older version of Excel, but it operates basically the same way. You'll notice right here, I'm just totaling up the sum, and that's the sum of those lines, so you can see it works the same way. Although it says calc, it's not really a calculator, it's in a spreadsheet, and it basically functions the same way. You've got all your data sorts, your finds, your macros, formatting. You basically do anything that you did inside Microsoft Excel. PowerPoint. This is Impress is the equivalent of PowerPoint. You'll notice that you can pull up different templates and apply them just as you would within PowerPoint, except that Impress seems to have a little bit more templates. They may not be as new as the ones you'd like, but well, they may not seem as flashy as the ones from Office themselves, but there are some in here, and you can search and find your own and kind of add them to the gallery. Okay, the next thing we're going to come on is the Ubuntu Software Center. Excuse me. As I said before, when this comes up, you have a whole bunch of applications and recommendations for software that you can directly install on your machine. If you click down here, you can divide it by different categories and just filter it based upon those. Clicking on the install button is going to put you in the all the installed applications, so you can see exactly what is installed. And if you wanted to, again, filter those, you can click there. You can click the arrow down and see all those different ways to filter. The applications are divided by category, and expanding the arrows gets you to them. As you can see, there are many applications available. Shotwell Photo Manager is kind of similar to Windows Picture Viewer, I guess you would say, except it has much better ability to see your external devices and media devices. GIMP is a photo editor, very much like Photoshop. In fact, it has been said to compete with Photoshop. And Document Viewer is the equivalent of like a PDF viewer for free. You'll notice under Internet we have a BitTorrent client. BitTorrenting is not illegal. BitTorrent is actually usable in many IT circles. A lot of open source people share things via BitTorrent that are perfectly legal to do so. It's not just meant for media and illegal files. Desktop sharing, as you can see, is built in to the desktop itself. However, I don't use the inherent desktop sharing here. I use a product called VNC because it allows me to encrypt the connection so that whatever I pass to my device is not passed over the network in clear text. As you notice, there's social client, pigeons, and internet messenger. Literally, I can go on and on and on. Thunderbird Mail is kind of like an Outlook. Functions much the same way, just a little bit different area to look for things. You even have with the Office here, you even have a LibreMath, which allows you to create and edit scientific formulas and equations. Fun stuff for kids that are in school. Sound and video. Again, MediaToom is on here. It doesn't come standard, but I put MediaToom on here because it's a UPnP server, meaning that if any of you bought those boxes that allow you to stream wirelessly over your network, basically this takes your computer and turns it into that type of server, so you can use your hard drive space to stream to your other machines and to your smart TVs. Like if you have a Samsung, like I have, with the Smart Media Hub, I can pull up video, go into the Smart Hub, pull up video, and it'll see my Ubuntu box and all the files inside MediaToom that I've put in there. I will say, however, that if you are going to, when you add files to the MediaToom gallery, I guess you would call it, a database, once you add them, you have to close out and stop MediaToom and then go back in for it to be able to broadcast. VLC Media Player is a one-stop shop for like videos and codecs and everything like that. There's nothing similar to kind of Windows Media Player, but except for the fact that you're not constantly having to download codecs every time you open it or updates, and so there's no delay in opening the program and viewing your material. As you can see, personal file sharing is directly available, standard install. You can enable that, but you can also enable that within the folders themselves. Once you click on a folder in the home folder and you choose to share it, it will automatically turn that on. Right here, sharing options. If I were to click this right now, it would turn sharing on and enable file sharing through Samba. And of course, anything that's not categorized within any of those areas goes in undercategorized. One thing I do want to point out now that I just saw that is that wine tricks. Some of new people for Ubuntu, new users and administrators of Ubuntu think it's impossible to run Microsoft applications from within Linux, and that is not true in any way whatsoever. You can run almost any licensed software within Ubuntu using what's called not an emulator. Wine. It stands for, I'm sorry, it's really late at night here now, and I can't remember what the exact acronym for it is, but it's not an N and an E at the end, or not an emulator. But basically it is really an emulator. It emulates an environment, so you don't have to run an operating system from within Linux and Ubuntu, and it allows you to run Microsoft Office applications. I'm not going to pull my Microsoft applications up right now, but if I need to later, I will. To make a video and show that they work. But that is a program that you would use to run within Windows. There is another emulator as well that will allow you to run Mac applications as well within Linux, and that's on one of my other boxes, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head what it is because I don't use it that often, but there is also the option to run Macintosh applications, Apple applications within Windows, or Linux, sorry. Okay, Ubuntu One is kind of like the Google Drive and the Dropbox of Ubuntu. You get 5 gigs free to store up in the cloud, except for the fact, well, it's very similar to Dropbox and Google, except for the fact that it doesn't store its certificates and keys in unencrypted format. They can't be hijacked. Whatever technology Ubuntu uses doesn't allow the hijacking of your keys to access the files that you have up there. However, if the files that are stored up there are unencrypted and someone does happen to get your username and password for it, like the government and the NSA, obviously they're still going to be up there unless you encrypt them. But again, you know, you can run any encryption software you want on your local files. You can encrypt your local home folder. You can encrypt the entire disk. Whatever you want to do. System settings, you're going to notice that this comes up very similar to a Mac system setting, Mac and Apple. And again, you know, it's also very similar to Windows control panel, except it's laid out a little bit differently and much cleaner. Okay, a terminal. In the past, Linux and open source software, well, I'm sorry, Linux and Unix and all the like, haven't become a favorite of users because a lot of the best features were controlled from a terminal. For instance, if I wanted to configure an application, I would have to come in here and type the command to configure the application. Well, that's kind of been done away with since Ubuntu has been trying to make it more user-friendly for you to control the necessary things from a GUI rather than make you remember command lines or search a command line every time you need to do something. For instance, if I wanted to look at the IP address of this box, under Windows this command would be ipconfig/alt. Under Ubuntu I have to switch to superuser, which you can act as superuser by typing sudo. I hit enter, I'm prompted for my password. I enter that password and I think I entered it wrong. Yeah. Okay. You will see my internet address, my IP6 address, broadcast, and other necessary information relating to the network connection. I can get to that same information over here by clicking on the network connection and looking at edit connections. Sorry, not edit connection, view connection. Connection information. Some of that same information is available here, not everything, but some of it is available here, and you'll also notice a little bit of different information, like such as the driver, whatnot. But you know, one of the things about Ubuntu is they're trying to make it more user-friendly so that people who are used to point-and-click technology can just pull up what they want to do from a menu and go on from there. One thing I do want to point out is while I still have this internet connection up here, one thing you can add to your Ubuntu installation is called OpenVPN. And what OpenVPN allows you to do is securely connect from point A to point B, even on open networks, and behind your own router itself, so that nobody can intercept your traffic and see what the actual data is traversing over it. For instance, right now, if I were to click on this Denver VPN connection, it would connect me through Denver, and if I pulled up a website called What's My IP, it would show me out of Denver until I disconnected, and my connection is then secured automatically through the VPN tunnel that is created by OpenVPN. Windows does not have that capability inherently, and if you do want that option, you have to basically install additional software on your machine, like Hide My Ass or SecurityKiss or something like that, to get that capability. But anybody that has used VPN software before would probably understand that. Otherwise, if you're just a typical user, all I can say is if you're going to be on an open Wi-Fi network, you're probably going to be interested in want to run a VPN while you're on that open network, whether it slows you down a little bit or not, in order to protect your privacy. Okay, the terminal, you obviously saw what you can do with the terminal before. Anything that you can't do from a GUI inside Ubuntu itself, you can do from the terminal. But a lot of the things that a typical user would have to do can be done from the terminal. Screenshot, this is a little program that I like to actually add to the base installation. It's available free, and if you go to your dash and type in screenshot, it comes right up, and then you click on it and it allows you to install it. In this particular situation, it's already installed, but you'll also notice that there are other related options that come up as well, not just for screenshots. Here we have Deluge, which I believe is a BitTorrent software. Yeah, it's BitTorrent software. BitTorrenting is not illegal, as long as you're not using it for copyrighted materials. There's a lot of items out on the internet that people share, like open source software, and they do it via BitTorrent client so that the individual clients can share the bandwidth, share the load of the processing. VLC Media Player, I think we already covered that. It's a media player that allows you to play all types of media, whether it be an MP4 or MD, movie, whatever. MediaToom is the UPnP software that allows you to stream to your TV. This is very interesting. Workspaces on Ubuntu allows you to keep separate programs open in each separate window, so that you don't have to go up to a taskbar each time and look for like 10 different windows. If you want to set one desktop up here, you can set up a workspace so that you have access directly to what you want, and then another workspace for what you want, without having to worry about mixing them up. Okay, that's about it. I think I covered about everything I needed to do. If you guys have any questions, please, visit our website, post to our Facebook page, and send us an email. Another thing, please, if I piqued your interest in these USB devices, please feel free to visit our website and purchase from us. I've taken quite a bit of time to create these videos, and not everybody who creates these USB devices for their clients provides such a detailed rundown of how it can be used and what can be done, and bringing you up to speed with Ubuntu. Okay, thank you for listening, and have a wonderful evening.